Now, after 35, then biological clock, and if you want to have kids, so then at least 30. Like, live a little bit, be single, be a single adult.
Is the situationship
Hmm.
more of a norm and an accepted norm in the 35 and up pool for all the things that we just talked about?
Yeah, I think people become so, if people are self aware, they realize like they don't have time for BS, right? They don't have time for people that, you know, engaging in things that are not going to protect their peace, that are not going to add value. Um, but at the same time, everybody has needs.
Mm.
And so I think there are more and more women out there that are willing to be in a situationship, again, as long as you're open and honest and transparent. Um, Now, you out here selling pipe dreams to different women, and you telling each of them like, "Oh, I'm really interested in you. I'm thinking about you making you my X, Y, and Z." That's gonna get you caught up, bro. And I've seen it. Like, I had a partner
Mm.
that was definitely selling pipe dreams to every, and he thought that made him player. Like, that's you're not a player. Like selling pipe dreams, bro. Because yes, you pulled the wool over. You know what I mean? Like, no, like
Mm.
if you're open and honest and allow women to have the choice, you'd be surprised. There are more because again, they have needs too. They may be willing to say, okay, you're dating XYZ as long as you treat me right and we have fun and we vibe together. You know what I mean? Like they may be willing. Now some aren't, and that's okay. Um, but yeah, I don't necessarily know if it's more the norm of situationships versus relationships. Um, from my experience, there are a lot that are willing, to do it and will understand. Like I've told even women that I'm meeting new, after I lost my sister or just recently after losing my dad, that I don't have the emotional capacity to be in a relationship. So this is what you're getting. Like I just don't
Mm.
have it in me or the energy to foster a full-time committed relationship. This is what I can give you. Um, and see and then just leave it at that, and there are women that are that are okay with it because at the same time they got a lot of sorry, they got a lot of stuff going on.
YouTube, listen, it's not my fault.
They got a lot of stuff going on in their lives too, and so but again, but if you good company and good people, they'll recognize that and they'll be willing to um be in it for as long as they're willing to. And and if you come to an agreement that hey, this is going to have a shelf life, and if at that point we have that conversation, then you can part amicably and there's no harm, no foul.
So y'all really out there having these conversations?
Yeah,
Huh.
absolutely.
So, like, how do you bring it up? Like, what's the conversation?
I mean, I've had the conversation where, I've definitely told somebody like, this is what I can provide. I'm not looking for a serious relationship or even a monogamous relationship. This is what I can provide to you. If you're willing, to go along and stay around, like, cool. And it'll be what it'll be. And I always tell them if you come to the point where I am no longer providing what you need or like your needs have changed and wants have changed, please tell me. You know what I mean? And so yeah, like I've had that conversation. Um and I've had people do it. I've had somebody stick around for 3 years and we're not in a monogamous relationship.
So, what do y'all do? Do y'all, like, shake hands and be like, "Yes, I agree," and then
No, no,
go to
it's not,
boinking?
nothing official like that, but it's just, again, when you get older, like it just is, you know, trying to sell pipe dreams is exhausting, like, and trying to keep up with that, is exhausting. And I'm not saying I may eventually want to be back in a serious relationship and I'm not opposed to marriage again one day. I operate of the mindset like I want it to slap me in the face. Like I want us to just be kicking it. And so I'm of the belief that every um intimate, relationship should start from casual and organically work its way through
Mm.
all of the phases. And I ultimately want to be like, I really like this person. Like they, you know, that's my best friend. Like that's my person, that's my rock, that's my and I am also because it's got to be it's right person, right time, right situation. What I call the trifecta. And I need it has to be all three, because it could be you're missing one and you're now like, you know, it's an uphill battle for
Okay.
me. For me.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this out there, and then I want you to respond. I have a couple of questions,
Hmm.
and man, this is good. Okay, what my statement is that EJ, don't call me Elijah. It won't be all three.
Hmm.
It just won't. It may be two, probably not all three.
Hmm.
But if it's that person and you get 2 out of 3,
Hmm.
what does that look like for you? Would you still be open to marriage
I
or
think it depends on which of the three are missing. So obviously, right, it needs to be the right person. That is like without a doubt, right? That was the one that can't be missing,
absolutely.
right? So then, right time, right situation, right? I talk about like um finding internal happiness and peace, right? And the reason and not trying to get other people to provide that for me. I know what that looks like for me. It's financially. Like I want to be in a place where um I, I'm content. I know everything is, good and making a certain amount of money and just being, happy with that.
Mm,
That for me is a level of peace and happiness
okay.
where I'm not worrying about that. So that's like the right situation. Um, but
Time.
yeah, right time, right?
Yep.
That's a difficult one. I think you need the right time. So the right situation may be the only one that's negotiable. Right timing, like again, me coming off of major loss, right?
Yeah.
And not having the emotional capacity right now. And I may meet somebody that's amazing. And I just may, and she may be willing to stick around and understand that that's where I am, but maybe like I'm just still in that place for, stuck in it for a while and she moves on, right? Then it wasn't the right time, right?
Bro, I think time is probably the hardest one,
Mhm.
because never in my life, well, not never, seldom in my life was there a right time for
Mhm.
anything. You
Mhm.
know, like
Yeah.
Ecclesiastic says, "He who gives regard to the wind will never sow." Like if you wait for the right time to do something, you'll never do
You'll never
anything
do it.
because it's never the right time.
Yep.
So, say you get to 2 out of 3, right person, right situation.
Mhm.
And even situation is kind of, whatever because you can be multiple six figures today
Mhm.
and then it all come crumbling
It
down
all come
tomorrow.
crumbling down, correct?
Uh, but that's situation is probably more plausible than the right time.
Mhm.
Okay. I think we both agree. If it ain't the right person, then you
Yeah. Yeah.
you climbing a
Yeah.
tall hill.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, if it's right person, right situation, time is
Mhm.
are you willing to push through it or are you just like, that's a we'll see.
Well, so I'm always willing to stick around and have it the status quo not change. What usually happens is, whatever woman that I'm, dating, then the timing is not right, for them, I guess. You know what I mean? Meaning that
Mm,
I'm still going to say I'm not ready, right? I'm not going to lie and try to push and try to fake it,
yeah.
right? And so I'm not going to end things and, but I totally understand if they do. Um, and that's why I say like it's hard for me to predict the future and say like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when I'll be ready to do that. I assume that point will come and maybe it never comes. And I'm okay with that too. Um, I don't necessarily think that my life's purpose or like fulfillment is me being, a husband and a father. That's not necessarily something that I see that I need for my life to be have purpose and have meaning.
That's not the end of the rainbow like it was, say, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people feel like that is their purpose, and that gave them purpose, is being a father and being a husband. Um, I uh it just, you know, if I choose to be a father at some point in time, I was a foster child. I can do that. I can adopt, right? There's
Mm.
plenty of kids out here that need, loving homes and stuff like that. But yeah, and if I, one day choose to be married again and be in a serious committed relationship, hopefully I'm not like 60 and my options are like less.
I think they would be.
you know?
But then again,
Although I got a homeboy at 60 and the dude, he turned 60 this month. And hey, I mean, bro's dating, he's divorced, and he's good. He's Gucci. He don't look it. So like
that's what I'm saying. It's like the older I get, the more I realize that the thoughts that I had that were old people aren't really
oh
that
yeah.
that old.
I mean, I said I was gonna be married and have kids by 25 when I was, young.
Yeah.
I thought 25 was old. Then you get to 25, you're like, there's no way. I'm like, no. And I tell everybody today, like I see, these young kid getting married, and God bless them, and I wish the best for them. But I try to tell everybody I can talk to, like, do not get married until like at least 30, and I would say after 35. Now, after 35, then biological clock, and if you want to have kids, so then at least 30, like live a little bit, be single, be a single adult.